I'm at the graves of those who fell in the Battle of the Castle, and I want you to look at the graves themselves. Born in Russia, born in Hungary, born in Jerusalem, born in the city of Tzvi, born in Kfar Saba, Jerusalem, Hungary, America, Iraq, Poland, Germany, Hungary, Germany, Poland, Argentina, Germany, India, and the list goes on and on of people who came here to be able to fight for the land they so much loved. The hills that surround Jerusalem, on one of those hills that's behind us is the Castel. We'll pay a heavy price to keep the roads to Jerusalem open. We'll lose lots of people. But it was vital to be able to make sure the city itself got the needs that they were having to be able to get to survive. Ammunition, medical supplies, food. People were on 10 liters of water. It was crazy what was going on here. We were being strangled slowly. And not surprising, there were 35 Arab villages that surrounded the roads that go up to Jerusalem, and only 5 Jewish communities to keep those roads open. In April of 1948, we made it our priority, as David Ben-Gurion spoke about, make sure that the body itself can survive. It can't survive if the heart's gone. It can survive without limbs. But how's it going to survive without the heart? The heart is Jerusalem. And even though we will lose the old city, and for 19 painful years we'll never walk into the old city again, until the Six-Day War, when finally we'll come back home, we hold on to West Jerusalem. We managed to ease the lives of the people that were living there. When you walk along these graves over here, you see various different people that come from so many places. Like I mentioned, Hungary, Romania, America, India, various cities in Israel, Germany. So many people, all fulfilling that idea of kibbutz galuyot, of a gathering of the exiles, bringing people back home, back to the land of Israel. But it was not easy. People had come from various different cultures. People didn't speak the same language. People certainly didn't know how to fight. Think about it now. If these people have got off the boats and they come into the land of Israel, then some of them had arrived here maybe a week before, 2 weeks before a battle. Think about those people that arrived straight after the British left. They came off the boat and the first thing they're given is a gun. Here you go for it. Oh, 1 second. I've just come from Cyprus. I've just been taken after trying to get out of the DP camps, the displaced persons camps, coming to Israel, being turned around by the British and sent to Cyprus for years, and now you want me to fight again? Those people took up arms and remembered what was important in life. We have come now to rebuild the Jewish people. Rebuild them out of the ashes. What a people. What type of people can manage to come out of what we managed to come out of and rebuild? Do you know how we're able to do it? It's because of these people who are lying here in front of us. We're told a story by Har Herzl, who was a commander in Latrun, who stood in front of his soldiers and started to speak to them. And he looked at their blank faces. He couldn't understand. Turned to his commanders. What, they don't understand me? He says, listen, they've just arrived from Russia. They've just arrived from Hungary, from Germany, from America, from Hodu, from India. And he turns around and starts speaking Russian to them so they'd understand. That's how severe the problem was at the time. People went into battle not even understanding the orders many times. But that's not what drives a person. What drives a person is what's inside. You know, we always say when you come to Israel, this isn't a place where I want you to walk around with your camera and take photo after photo after photo. That's not what I want from you here. It's not what any person who educates in Israel wants. Because at the end of the day, that photo album will become part of your photo album on your bookshelf, next to somewhere else you've been. London, Niagara Falls, Washington, D.C., your trip to India, wherever it may be. That isn't Israel. What you need here is what drove all these people to do what they did. Because everything you do here has to be inside here. It's by no coincidence that Abraham was not told to come to the land of Israel and do it on a camel. Go across the country on a camel. He was told to walk. Kum v'hitalech ba'aretz. Get up and walk across the land. He was told to do it by his feet. Because only through his feet will he start to feel the country. Not just through a camera lens. Will he start to understand what it means to be here? The price might be heavy to stay here. And the price might be heavy even to be able to get to the aim. But that price we're prepared to pay. And that price, all these people that are lying here in front of us now, with all of the hardship we're prepared to do. And it continues to this day. You sit in Har Herzl, and you think about all the soldiers today, they're out on the front lines, haven't been home for weeks, and they don't know when that's going to end. It's due to coronavirus, of course, so it's a different enemy now. It's an enemy that we can't see. It's an enemy that many of us even can't fight. We're doing our best. But I want you, even through this camera lens over here, because I wouldn't want to do this, I'd want you to be here. I want you to be able to take their inspiration and understand that their inspiration is stronger than Corona. Their will to make sure that we're able to come back to this country. Their will to make sure that we were able to have a state for those people who perished and died, whether being in the Holocaust or whether being here in Har Herzl and the many other military cemeteries. They wanted us to be able to walk through the streets. They wanted us to be able to have the heart back in its limb, which is Jerusalem. They didn't want us to have the hardships that they had at the time. So I'm standing here in the monument which deals with the old city of Jerusalem, which so many of us are desperate to go back and see, to pray at the Kotel. And I'm sure many of you that are watching from Chutz La'aretz, from outside of Israel, that's the first thing you're going to do when you come back here. Let's get to the old city. Let's see the old city again. But the story of the old city is not just what we see today. Of course, for 19 years, it was not in our hand. May 28, 1948, we'll be kicked out of the old city, and we won't get back there until the Six-Day War. When we walk back into the old city, and that famous story, a famous picture of Yitzhak Rabin, Moshe Dayan, going back into the old city. But we stand here in the monument here on Har Herzl, because behind me is a little boy. His name is Nissim Gini. As you can see, he's the son of Miriam and Yitzhak. He was born in Jerusalem. His father, Yitzhak, was actually from Izmir, from Turkey. His father had a bakery in Machane Yehuda. And when the brother broke out in the old city, he couldn't get back into the old city in order to be able to come back to look after his family. And his mother, Miriam, who now was quite blind at this time, had to look after the kids by herself. The older daughter, once the battle had started, with round about under 200 soldiers that there were in the old city, close to 1,600 to 2,000 Jewish people that were in the old city. It's hard to be able to make sure that we understand the full numbers. Some were there, some hadn't managed to make it back, as we heard from Yitzhak. Were being protected by these soldiers. Everyone was basically involved in the battle. When you look on the wall in front of you, you're astounded by the names on the wall in front of you. I've got it right in front of me now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people in a line here. Same name, Mizrahi. Same name, same surname. Regular people took up arms to help. And one of those is this little boy, Nissim Gini. He is the youngest person to be memorialized in Har Herzl. He's buried, not here, but on Har Herzl. He's the youngest person to be remembered there. What's the story behind this boy? Nissim Gini. Nissim, a 10-year-old boy, will become a messenger in the old city. His sister Chaya is going to be working in Batei Machzeh because it's where the hospital is at the time. She's going to be helping there. 14 years old. Her younger brother, who's 12, also is going to be working there. But Nissim knows the back streets of the old city better than anybody because he played hide and seek there. He's been running around in the old city. And so the Haganah use him as a messenger between their different posts to be able to pass messages one to the other. On the final day of the battle, Nissim Gini is on his way home after his shift when somebody comes up to him and says, your replacement hasn't arrived. Would you please stay on? His mother hears this, says, no, he needs to come home. It's dangerous now. He's 10 years old. Let him come home. But Nissim says to his mother, what, you want other people to go out there and die? I need to do the job. And he goes back, and even though he had managed to dodge Jordanian bullets throughout his time helping the Israeli army by this time, this one got him. He's buried in the old city, just by the Kikar Batei Machzeh there. There was a grave there until they were finally able to move them to Har Herzl and bury them there. When they were moved to Har Herzl, one of the Arabs remembers describing this. He says, we couldn't really recognize the people, but there was one person that we could identify. And do you know how? Because we saw that he had children's teeth still. He didn't have adult teeth. It was little Nissim Gini. At the age of 10, look what he did. The country is built by ordinary people. The country that we love and cherish is built by yous and me's. Ordinary people. But you ask yourself on a day like this, can you fill their shoes? They're giants. What they sacrificed. What their families have sacrificed. Won't forget what Nissim did. And those of you that are watching, age of 10, 12, 18, or any of us who are even much older than that, know that a 10-year-old did his part to be able to make sure that he was part of the Jewish people. Remember, we're all puzzle pieces that fit up and make up a beautiful picture of the Jewish people. This 10-year-old's picture, or his puzzle piece, was much bigger than many others. Yehi Zechor Baruch, and Yehi Zechor Baruch to Nissim Gini.